Baby Simon says it's Porsha and her people's fault that ICE came for him. He absolutely had nothing to do with why he was detained, right? I think he's so happy to be free. He's just talking to hear himself talk like he's checking if he's really free. Simon claims somebody snitched, and now he's calling out Porsha's powerful friends. Before we get into what he said, let's take a second because I heard, and of course all of this is alleged, that Porsha was sleeping with a very rich Nigerian married man. Now, did y'all notice that even after she filed for divorce, Porsha kept going to Nigeria and partying? I remember asking myself, what are you doing there? It's not like you're visiting Simon's family. Now that the story's out, it's starting to make some sense to some folks. So, allegedly, Porsha met some very wealthy Nigerian man, much richer than Simon, and he's the one who told her about Simon's fraud and immigration issues, and then he told her, girl, you need to leave him. So Porsha, being Porsha, thought, okay, if I leave Simon, maybe the rich man will leave his wife for me. She thought her hips don't lie, but nope, that's not what happened. But you know what? I'm thinking maybe they're just waiting for the divorce to be finalized before making their relationship public. If it happens, you heard it here first.
You look super stunning. Look who's in Lagos. The beautiful Porsha. You look extremely amazing. How does it feel to be the #1 housewife ever in the franchise of the Real Housewives?
Well, is that true? Oh my goodness.
Oopsie. Anyways.
Let's get back to Simon pointing fingers at everyone but himself. The Neighborhood Talk dropped a headline that read, "Snitching? Simon hints Porsha or her powerful friends might have tipped off ICE before his deportation." Sir, let's not play games. You were denied citizenship earlier this year, and we all know you've been denied before, and then a new administration came in, and they're not playing. You married a famous woman, and you're always talking. You were on the radar. That's what it was. So here's what happened. According to reports, Simon was flying back to the U.S. for a divorce hearing when 7 ICE agents pulled up on him right at the gate. They took his phones, his laptop, and walked him off the plane in cuffs. He says all his business info from Dubai and the U.S. was on those devices, and they made him give up his passcodes. Simon says the timing was strange. He's had travel issues before, but nothing like this. And it just happened to go down a day or two before the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta premiered. Coincidence? He's not so sure. He says it felt personal. He didn't say Porsha's name directly, but he heavily implied that people behind her might have wanted him out the picture. When asked if Porsha tipped off ICE, he said, "It's possible. I just don't know." But sources close to Porsha say that's a flat-out lie. Simon says he was locked up with no bond, no phone call for days, and ended up in protective custody because people recognized him. And now that he's back in Nigeria, he says he's still shaken up and trying to piece it all together. Cue laugh. But the comments were not having it. Let's go rapid fire because people dragged him. One said, "Simon, the internet tipped off ICE. You should have shut up." Another wrote, "I thought he went in for a normal appointment and they detained him. Like ICE literally knew you were here, sir." Boy, if you don't take your goddamn... Trump is getting everyone. No one is excluded. It was probably that little Fallon back to get the last laugh. Demon. Sir, you can't blame her for this. You literally had this immigrant stuff going on in the 80s and 90s, law. Simon, please. Duh. Simon, you being all over the internet was a dead giveaway. Cut his phone off too. Just go away. Simon, please, sir. You've been having these issues. And just so you know, Trumpisha don't like your kind. But he was outside like he was legally here. He refuses to accept that he put himself there. He wanted to be in the spotlight knowing he was living fraudulently. And somebody else said, no, Fallon says she needed one last laugh. Do you think Porsha had anything to do with the way Simon got caught? Because honestly, Simon should have been moving smart. Your wife had filed for a divorce. You were denied citizenship again. You should have stayed in Dubai until the heat cooled down. He said most of his businesses don't rely on the U.S., or at least most of his revenue comes from outside the states, allegedly. But let's be clear. This is a very painful experience, even if it's self-inflicted. He's been living in the U.S. since he was 19, and now he's in his 60s. This is home for him. That's gotta hurt. Anyway, y'all, thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, do you believe Simon's theory? Or do you think this is just the consequences of a long paper trail catching up to him? As always, everything is alleged, and we were not there. But we know we're going to talk about it. Until next time, bye.